Welcome, everybody. The ELHS School Building Committee meeting. It's 3:04 on February 27th. We are going to suspend doing the approval of the minutes from last time. Go to public participation. We have one member of the public sitting in our gallery.
Oh,
Not to participate.
Speech.
Everybody online?
I didn't even see him sitting there.
No? Okay. And we will move to OPM update. And I lost my,
Dory has her hand up.
oh. Get her in there.
Hi, I just want to be sure you all can see us. Aviva and Christian and I are all here.
Welcome. We can see you.
Great, thanks.
All right. Ben, you're taking.
Good, yeah, so thank you.
Bless you.
Bless you. One more.
Yes, got it. Nailed it.
So, not much to update you guys on today in terms of formal updates, at least. We had planned on having this meeting. I think when we originally set it up, the goal was to approve the Fontaine's GMP. So we've got more information to share on that afterwards. That is coming very soon, but we're not quite there yet. Just a couple updates. You can see in our section here, we have MSBA's scheduled site visit. So just wanted to let the group know. So up until construction, I know construction has been going on since early last year, but until this point in the project, MSBA, really our correspondence with them has been through the submissions. They haven't been too bothersome to us, not that they're bothersome, but they now are going to be doing monthly site visits. They did their first one. We did the virtual call. That was the kickoff. I wasn't there for that, but I understand that all went well. So MSBA laid out kind of what the requirements are for Module 7, the construction module, just what they expect to be getting from the OPM, all the deliverables going forward. And so part of that, and their checking is they come out each month, and they're actually supposedly, Lynn, coming out in
The
person on March 11th, which is big news because they have not made any site visits since COVID. It's been like 5 years. So yeah, we're excited for that. That group that meets with MSBA monthly is essentially just our OAC group who meets weekly, which includes Gordon, Frank, and Steve. So we really just give them a pulse of the project. It's basically, we report all this information to them monthly, so they have all the information, but it's really just a time to sit down, walk them through the project, have them get eyes on it and answer any questions that they might have. So that would be going on regularly from now through the closeout of construction.
What was the time they were coming?
10 o'clock.
And that's typically, Gordon, we'll start off maybe, 15 minutes in the trailer, go through their checklist, and then we'll do a walkthrough afterwards with them. So I would allot maybe an hour for it total.
Okay.
20,
Yeah, that's what something
something like that. So that's just letting you guys know what our involvement with MSBA is right now. And then the topping off ceremony. So folks have been talking about it already. A great success, a good event. So that if you guys recall, there's 3 main milestones that we try to celebrate. So we've already celebrated the first 2. The final one is the ribbon cutting. So let's make it something special. That's a ways out, but we'll definitely do a lot of brainstorming with this group and with the community to make sure that's a special day as well. So that's really all I have. I know that the design team and construction team have a few updates here as well. We will get into it when we bring up the GMP discussion. Just so you folks know, we will need, because that is over the $50,000 threshold by quite some, it will require the full building committee's approval. So we are meeting with Gordon and Steve tomorrow to go through Fontaine's draft GMPs for both the school project and the pool project. And as long as that goes well, we would be looking to meet with the building committee to approve that GMP in short order as soon as possible. So if we could pull that together for next week, great. But anyways, I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. I'll let these guys do the updates and then we'll get there.
Okay. We'll go to schedule.
Schedule.
Milestones. The Wi-Fi here.
Yeah. Do you want to go? Dory, do you
I
want
kick it over to Dory. From a schedule standpoint, I mean, what do you want? I mean, larger picture, I mean, what we've been focusing on is obviously the bidding, contracting with the subcontractors. So that's what is all aimed at this final GMP. So this is truly a milestone in the construction team's eyes, allows us to move forward with all the subs and everything. So
Start now.
I think beyond that, I know you guys will probably cover schedule stuff in your slides, but
Yeah, I don't know if you.
There we go.
There it is.
want to go into this? Am I?
No, it's all good.
Step in.
I mean, you can also, we can talk about what we're doing and where we're at, just so you guys know. So the winter's been a little tough, as we know. We're trying to move through. Steel should be done probably by the end of next week, give or take a little bit. All steel will be done, crane gone. Doing a little bit more work, and then all the detailing now happens the next couple of weeks. We have started underground. Plumbing in building D is complete. We are in building E now doing underground plumbing. We should start underground electric in another, hopefully by the end of next week, I'll get material here. We'll start underground electric in both D and then move our way to E. We're letting the trades on the deck as early as tomorrow to start doing their layout for the second floor of D and E. So they can do the layouts. We can look at doing extra steel, doing the rebar, whatever we need to do around those. The shear studs, which got shot to all the beams. They take a little bit more, and we have a lot of moisture in between the decks. We can't shoot it yet, but with the wind and the drying out, I should be able to do that another week or so. We're going to try next week. If it works, great. We'll get that done. Rebar and mesh for all the slabs are on order. They should be in mid-March. With the weather keeping going, we're hoping by the end of March, beginning of April at the latest, we'll have the whole south side poured, slab on grade and slab on deck. Metal studs, building D has been back and reviewed and released. So hopefully starting metal studs by second to third week in March, give or take, once the material starts showing up. And we'll work our way from the loading dock around the building in building D and work our way to E and then to A. And with that, end of next week, beginning, middle of next week or so, maybe beginning of the following week, we'll be in building A doing underground there. And then east side will be done and we'll keep working our way through and into the gym. So that's kind of takes us through the next month. The pool, we've done most of the walls on the east side where the surge tank is, the mechanical room in the pool. We're working on that way now. We'll finish that up in another week or so. And then what happens at that point, Manafort will be done with their concrete because we have to do the actual digging out of the pool, which will start by the beginning of May. So we're working on all our submittals now for the pool and everything else. And once that gets done and we release everything, hopefully like I said, end of April, beginning of May, we'll be looking at starting to dig out the pool and work our way through there.
Rick, I know you said, and I didn't mean to cut you
Oh,
off.
good.
You said about the steel. So you're talking about the school building itself,
right.
steel will be done. You're not talking about the pool.
No, because the pool is block bearing, different type of structure. So we have to wait for the pool. You won't see that going up to end of summer, early fall. So what'll happen is the pool will finish the pool itself. We'll finish the balance of the foundation. And then what happens from there is we got to bring that up, get to the point where we can pour slab because we got trench drains, we got all the drainage we have to do for the pool. But once that's done there, then we'll start doing the block. So the block bearing from there. And once the block bearing is done, you have the embeds for the steel, then we start to steel and do the deck from there. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more and do the underground plumbing in the shower room locker area and get that slab on grade done ahead of time while we kind of wait for the others to happen.
Thank you.
That's kind of the plan on that. So that's kind of it for the next week or so.
Oops. These are pictures.
Yeah,
Pictures.
those are recent drone photos. I
Right.
think they were from the 21st of February, so
Right.
it doesn't, we're a little bit further along than that. But really you can see from this that Mark described the foundations. You can see the L shape of the pool is going to fill in that little brown spot furthest to the right.
Right.
And
Right here.
the outside walls will stay out until after we get the pool formed up and the shotcrete done. And then we're gonna finish up the rest of the steel. And there's our topping off.
There it is. This last
There
one.
it is.
Well, you guys shot it from the wrong side again.
Yeah.
All set? All right. Dory, are you taking over for design update?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay.
Next slide. Just now we get into the time when a lot of our work is less fun to show you. So you see that superstructure's in place, and on to the right of there, you see an image of coordination of our fireproofing. So we basically are kind of working through the process on RFIs and submittals in a direction that kind of aligns, but is ahead of what you're going to be seeing happening in the field. So we've gone through that process of coordinating the fireproofing. We are simultaneously to the south of that photograph, we've been working through some cladding RFIs and questions and adjustments. And then we're starting to see coming along the mechanical, electrical, plumbing coordination. So essentially we're always kind of looking down the line on that schedule of construction that you were just seeing from Mark. If we could go to the next slide. We wanted to give you an update on the furniture, fixtures, and equipment process, which again is its own process. It follows at a different schedule, and I'll show the schedule in the next slide. But we had a meeting this week with the district in which we shared that through the efforts of the faculty, staff, Frank, myself, and our consultant Stafura, we've kind of wrangled the furniture requests and needs into a final budget that now is ready for final approval and to enter into the DD2 phase. So that budget is for the high school. And originally our budget for this was $1.6 million for furniture. We agreed at the last school building committee meeting that based on how things were looking, we would slide 100,000 over from our IT budget to support furniture. We now are at a current estimate of 1.675. That difference isn't huge, and it's not the final review. So we have a committee that's been formed of department heads, Frank, Pam, and Gordon, who are going to sit down and look through that one more time. And then they will start the process of working with Stafura through the selection of specific make and model. So we do sit tests and have furniture come in. So that process is just getting going. So in general, on furniture, I feel we've stayed on track very well without any significant pain at all. But looking ahead, we're not through. So there's a couple of problems, not problems, but just realities that we're still working through, and it's logical at this point to be doing so. We have all those furniture requests that have established our furniture budget and needs. We also have a significant number of requests for equipment, which we have not yet fully vetted because there's, people ask for everything. We tell them to, and then we can go through and make some decisions about what can be salvaged. And we're still filling in a few holes for a few departments where we didn't think we got quite enough information or we got too much information. We have to go back and review. So there's some work going on with some of the departments still. And the goal is always to deal with furniture first and then equipment. IT is instructional technology is looking really good still. We're starting that second phase with them as well, and we'll be setting up another meeting to start into the specific procurement process and make and model selections. But the challenge we have is that all of that is based on the presumed cost of project per student. And the numbers on furniture that you're seeing do not include the IT district and LCAT furniture. So we have at the bottom the needs for that, which are roughly $150,000 that would add to this deficit that we're looking at. So before we take that, we get too worried about that because it's not a lot of money. We should be able to work it out, we're hoping, or at least we'll start getting into, how far short we are. We've asked the district, IT, and LCAT to take a look at their requests relative to their existing furniture to see what could be salvaged without any compromise of quality. So for instance, if IT asked for all new furniture, well, let's take LCAT. It's a better example. LCAT's been recently updated, so LCAT has some pretty good furniture. They probably don't necessarily need new furniture. Maybe they want matching chairs, something to kind of relate to the rest of the building, but they probably could make some adjustments to that request. Same with IT. So we've asked the district admin to take that responsibility on of taking a look at that list, looking at the furniture plans and making a little bit more of a review so we can find out what we need. And we would ideally have all the chairs and desks kind of match the overall, but maybe some of the storage and miscellaneous, it's not critical. So
Dory, was that an email? Because I never got anything on that.
It just happened. No, it just happened yesterday.
Oh,
And so,
Gordon's fault?
yes, my fault. It's,
yeah.
before this presentation, we were probably supposed to let you know that we got to sit down at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Email on it, Dory, in my defense, came this
Yeah.
morning, right?
Right. So this is all, I mean, and again, this
You're
is
learning
nothing
today.
to worry about.
Less than 24 hours.
Right. So
Oh,
20,
God. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, but, and really the point right now is that we're moving towards the next phase. If you could go to the next slide.
But before we go there, you also want to review then all the furniture in district administrative offices, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So district,
Yeah,
IT,
so we're gonna
and
have to
LCAT.
whittle that down and figure that out, correct?
Well, I think you're going to look at it. We're not asking you to not make the appropriate request. We just want to be sure that
I really like
those
this
are
chair.
things that you need, right?
Dory,
Right.
was the original budget zero for those two departments, and why was that?
Because this is an MSBA school project where
Okay.
the budget is determined by student, right? So these are all, they do not measure their furniture budget based on district offices because they are not participant to those additional scope elements, right? So,
The high school office is fine?
But don't we have things that don't qualify for MSBA with
Like
the
the
program?
square footage wasn't included.
yes, but this
We
is,
still
this
have
is
within the
the-
project?
right, this is the soft cost budget,
Yeah.
and we did boost it from what the MSBA participates in anyway. Now, I'm not saying that, like, we could come to the point of making a decision that we want all the district furniture and IT department furniture to be new and part of the budget, in which case we have to go back and say, okay, what are we going to take out of the high school equipment and furniture, which we don't want to do, right? So that's where the kind of conversation is going to go. But we're not at the point where we've resolved the equipment yet. And I think so I don't think we're ready to make a hard ask for
Sure.
any adjustment to the budget, right?
So, but within the decisions on the equipment is the budget of the equipment, and so who's gonna decide that number? Because now we're over budget on equipment, right? Is that correct?
We're not
95?
we're not done. So the way the equipment budget
We haven't
process
reviewed equipment
works
yet.
is we have
Furniture for that
we
matter.
had assumed 560,000 for equipment. We're currently with allowances at 855, but that's without saying to the music department, let's salvage that piano, or the graphics department, let's salvage that printing press. And there are some big elements that are quite expensive. And so we have lists that I think that are a little bit generous in the request. So in the same way that we worked through furniture and got it on budget, we hope to do the same with equipment. I just think that even when we do that, the extra 150,000 for LCAT, IT, and district offices, we want to absorb into it, but we want to be sure we're not doing it in a way that takes away from like legitimate needs in the equipment budget. So those two things I see as kind of potentially coming at each other. There's still potential, I think, for, this contingency could support this, but there's a point at which that decision would have to be made. And I don't think we're ready to get into that yet, because I think we have a lot of work to do still to bring it down.
So we'll set up a date to sit down.
Yeah. We're just trying to be fully candid about the process. And
Amy,
this
I'll
is
send you
not-
an email too.
yeah, it's not unusual and you've heard us talk about, there should be some things that are salvaged that have a longer lifespan, and that's part of the process.
That oval table in my office, salvage.
We don't want to,
Just one time, it's a one-time deal.
yeah.
Bring back those blue chairs.
So then on schedule, sorry, let me change screen here so I can read it. So yeah, this schedule's just shows you in across the whole spectrum of the project ahead of us, how this process unfolds. So in purple, this is from now through August is really resolving these issues I talked about, getting some more specific make and model decisions made. So again, that budget is a very comfortable budget on all those things, and then it'll get more refined as this committee works through looking at things, making more decisions and selections, and as we finalize the equipment budget. So by August, we want this process fully resolved so that the procurement specifications can be written in the fall, and then the bidding can happen in December in order to line up this orange bar at the bottom, which is the orders are placed, manufacturing is underway, and we're lining up for July, August delivery and install.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
I'm gonna, I think you all know Aviva, but Aviva's gonna just give you an update on our lead certification process.
Yep. So just a quick update on sort of where we are with LEED. We've been, working through finessing the LEED scorecard all along the process. But we're now really coming to the end of LEED design elements and moving into the LEED construction process. So what you're seeing on the right of the screen is the LEED submittal sheet that Fontaine is making sure, every subcontractor sends with every piece of product data, so we've had our construction kickoff. That happened at the end of January. The design credit documentation process, I would say we're probably 80% of the way to final credit documentation. Some items can't really happen until after the finished complete set, is done, which happened mid-January. And so we're aiming to submit that to LEED, to USGBC for design credit review in March. We're attempting for 65 credits at the moment. MSBA requires that we be LEED silver or better, which is 50 credits or higher. But you always want to have a very healthy padding of credits that you attempt, because occasionally, small things will throw a credit off, or something will change over the course of construction that'll bring you slightly underneath the threshold for a credit. So we always have the strategy of a healthy margin to make sure we're getting there. And I would say that the construction administration process is going well so far with LEED. Fontaine's pretty good about getting their subs to get the paperwork in. There've been a few wrinkles that we're working out with some subs who are less familiar with, just the paperwork end of things. But I feel like that's really cleared up at this point and is looking to be in good shape. I just wanted to highlight one of the reasons that this form is so important. The new MSBA Green School Incentives Program will give an additional 1% reimbursement if we meet 5 points between the 3 credits: material ingredients, low emitting materials, and indoor air quality assessment. That there's a total of 7 possible points in those 3 credits, and we have to pursue 5, which is potentially more than $1 million for the district in reimbursement. And this form is I would say 2/3 of this form is concerned with those credits. So this documentation of very transparent ingredients for materials and very low VOC, low toxicity materials is really, really critical as we're continuing to move through construction to make sure we're getting the district the maximum possible reimbursement for LEED, or from MSBA based on the LEED process.
All set?
So, yep.
Can I ask a question? Is there sort of like a comparison matrix? I think, did I hear you say $1 million if we got that extra 1%? Are we paying more for these ingredients? Is there some sort of, do some ingredients last longer or not as long? you know, if we're gonna get the incentive for $1 million, but pay $2 million extra or lose 20 years of useful life on something, is that something that we could see some information on?
ROI type thing.
It's definitely a good question. I would say that in a lot of ways, it's a little less, apples to apples in that way, because some of the items that we're talking about actually choosing towards LEED are actually getting you, high quality, the most high quality durable types of materials in the first place. So low emitting materials, for example, everything like tile and terrazzo. So a lot of the finishes we're choosing are inherently non-VOC emitting materials in the first place. And we put a lot of attention towards healthy materials in our design. Healthy materials is always a high priority for, and high quality indoor air quality is always a high priority for schools.
Okay.
So
we're pretty much gonna, I don't want to say rubber stamp it with the design, but it's very attainable just with what we've got designed already.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you.
It's less about, paying extra for these materials and more about saying to the manufacturer, you need to provide us this data about the materials.
I gotcha. Okay.
Along with your submission of the product information during construction.
Thank you for the clarification.
All set?
Yep.
Take that as a yes.
Dorian, Aviv, I did just have a question regarding LEED, kind of, if before we jump off of that. So we've reached out to our testing agent regarding the blower door testing. That's a requirement of the LEED process. And we're not thinking that they're going to be able to do it, but wondering if you guys have a recommendation of who would certify that, or if you have any good intel. Do you, Danielle?
What company that we use people,
Okay.
so I can get.
We'll talk offline. All right. I just want to make sure we
Yeah.
are acting on that. Okay. All right. Very
Actually
good.
for the stretch code,
Yeah.
not for LEED,
Oh,
but still helpful.
And do we need to show any kind of progress during the site visits on this?
Here's the
MSBA?
They'll
ask,
ask
when are
for
you
the-
going to
your
submit
updated
your design?
scorecard.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay, so they're going to ask
And
about,
Ben will be ready.
and that's the picture of the scorecard right there?
Yeah, this will be updated all throughout until the end.
We have started loading our LEED product data and our tracking sheets into Procore. I don't think I've sent information yet, but they're up there. So maybe we can take some time with Cynthia to review what's already there and
Where we might be on the scorecard?
Hmm?
That would tell us where we might be on the scorecard? What's already loaded up?
No, but it's the reporting that Fontaine has to do it's
Right.
required by,
And
there's
ultimately,
a lot of moving
we'll
parts.
have meetings with the energy efficient, the lead consultant who's on the group. I think Cynthia is her name. So we'll have meetings with the consultant to make sure that Fontaine is, meeting the requirements and staying on top of that for the full submission at the end. So there shouldn't be anything that drops through the cracks.
Since we're on it, so what Aviva was describing also was the design phase credits, all the things that we can control during design. And then that's one submission to USGBC. And then there's the whole, what happens during construction, of which the design team and the CM, and actually you all will have like some credits that you have to say, our building is non-smoking. You've probably done that already. So things like that. It's a two-step process to get.
Okay.
New vape detectors. Yeah, no vaping.
We'll catch you if you do that.
Yeah.
Much better at it now.
Well, detect, you maybe won't catch.
That's a lot of them.
That's,
I bet.
okay, thank you. The next area is motions and approvals. I know we don't have any approval that might be going towards MSBA, but since we now have a quorum, maybe it's good to circle back and approve the minutes from January 23rd. We have a chance to review those.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call. I'm a yes. Ms. Martin Boucher,
Yes.
Mr. Penny?
Yeah.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes.
Ms. LeBar?
I was not present.
I think you can vote on accepting them though, right?
Good, but she doesn't have to.
Same.
Vote
Yeah, we do
for quorum.
Don't, we'll still have a majority of the quorum.
Okay.
She can abstain, yeah.
And Mr. Quimby?
Oh, yes.
Those minutes are approved. Moving on to new business. You wanted to schedule a school building committee meeting so that we can GMP and approve that.
Yeah, and I don't know that this needs to be in person. I don't want to kill your guys' schedule next Thursday. So if we want to do a Zoom and just approve the GMP, that will be the only agenda item. So I don't know if next Thursday at 3 works for everybody. Start there.
All right, so it's
Sounds like a no to you.
Well, the next 2 weeks are out with
Yeah.
budget, but I'll make time, I suppose. If I need to log on and say aye, what you're saying?
virtual meeting
Saying.
Thursday at 3. Everybody make it because that would give us a quorum if everybody here can make it.
If we're doing,
Yep.
zooming it,
Zooming it.
Beaman.
being myself right in.
Right.
We want to tentatively also plan the next SBC after that.
Yeah, we should.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any milestones that we need to
All
be
back.
scheduling around for the one that follows the 6th?
No, not that I can think of.
So should we be looking into April?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
So he's.
Any particular week?
Not vacation week,
Vacation week would be bad.
What week is that then?
21st.
That's the
21st, okay.
21st. Oh, wait, is it? Yeah.
Yes.
17th.
Yeah, 17th.
15th works, yeah.
I think so.
17th work for everybody else?
Wait.
We're April 17th?
April 17th.
Yep.
Sure, she says.
Then we'll do April 17th and March 6th. March 6th is our next meeting and April 17th. All right, beautiful. Everybody's okay with that? All right, any other new business? No? Other than the email I have to send Jamie and Ryan to make the look at our furniture requests that has no budget? That email is forthcoming.
That's it.
All right, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Greg.
Thompson motions and seconded.
You're.
Roll call vote.
You don't have to roll call proper.
No roll call
You don't have to.
for adjourn?
No one's participating remotely.
Oh, good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
It's up.